Hello everyone, it's Julie from Camelia Crafts Designs. Welcome and welcome back. I'm here today to show you this super simple policy envelope or policy pocket or envelope with policy closure, whatever you call it, button string closure. There's lots of names for it, but hopefully this will be a very easy one that you can adapt to put in any journal or just use as an envelope on its own. I'll show you how to make the one in the size I require, but the method I'm going to show you should make it easy for you to alter that to any size you require. Right, this is the one you saw in the last video if you watched it. I don't know when I made this, quite a while back, but I do tend to make them very similar. This one is too many H's, that's glued, so it's actually just an envelope, and yeah, you can fit in what you can fit in. Now this one, I've not glued it and I've made it so that you can expand it to fit more stuff in. I'll show you what I mean by that. It just closes and it opens up all the way so that you can just stuff all your bits and bobs in at the end of a journaling session. Imagine you've got this glued into the front of your journal. There you go. And you're done. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to fall anywhere. In fact, you don't need to glue it in. You could just pop that inside your journal. I'm going to glue mine into the front cover, my Timmy journal that I'm making. Here's one I've got part made. That's another thing. If you wanted it to be a side opening envelope, you could open that way, could open that way. Yeah, you could glue it or not. And it has got, by putting an extra score line in, we've got room for it to expand. And you can get a little bit extra in it. Yeah, see what I mean? You could put another score line in and make it expand even more. I think I did that. Yeah, I did that on that one. Well, I'll just show you how to go on with it. I've got all the measurements for you. Put those to one side. Ta-da! There you go. I've had a few people say it's very difficult to see where I'm scoring and cutting sometimes on pattern paper. So I've marked this one out on a plain sheet of cardstock for you. So we're going to make an envelope that measures 7.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to grab my scoreboard. Ooh, scoreboards. This is the one you used to see me have. I've got a new one. Ta-da! Yeah, it's got a much smaller footprint for my desk, look. I ain't got that bit wedged into my tummy then. Also, it's got all my 8ths and quarters marked out for me, so you don't have to watch me add them up anymore. So there should be less chance of this going wrong, but if it goes wrong we'll fix it, won't we, as per normal. Right, stop waffling, woman, get on with it. So I'm going to make one this size. Now I've chosen, that is a perfect paper for something like this. I mean, we've got bits that are sideways anyway, so when you fold it up you're not going to have any bits that look the wrong way. If I just bring this one back in a second, I started off with a map. It's a full sheet that's a map. Now I put it in my scoreboard sideways first. Well, let's make it sideways so that everything on the front of my policy envelope is sideways, but I think it still looks good. So you choose. Non-directional paper is always the easiest, but I find if your paper's directional, do it sideways and it tends to look okay. So I'm going to use that one because that's my favourite. Right, the first scores I'm going to make is 3 1/4 all the way down and 8 3/4 all the way down. So let's do that. You can take a screenshot of that and then you'll have these. It would be an idea if you made one of these, if you've got a spare bit of card hanging about. Ooh, because then you can reference it when you want to make something a slightly different size and work it out. Right, 3 1/4. Let's score. Much easier to see. And I've not got all them bits of tape on for making my envelopes, have I? I can just keep that one for making envelopes now. And 8 3/4. So that's, is that right? 8 3/4. Yeah. Yeah, silly woman. I don't know why I second guessed myself then. I know it's right because I worked it out and checked it. Now we're going to turn it. Don't matter which way you turn it. Just turn it sideways. Then we're going to score again. So there it is. I'll turn it where you can see it scores right way up at 2 1/4 and 9 3/4. So 2 1/4. I hope I've got this in shot, because I knew exactly where to place my other one. 9 3/4. There we go. Now, if you're just making a flat policy envelope, such as this one, that's all your scoring done now. If you just want a flat one. If you want to make an expanding one like we're going to make, we're going to come in and do a few extra score lines. And we're going to score 1/8 of an inch, sorry, 1/8 of an inch, either side of our main bit, yeah? So 1/8 of an inch after that one and before that one. Let's come in and do it. Put that back that way around, make life easier. So, and we're just going to score from the top score line to the bottom. So this score is going to be at 8 7/8. As long as you know it's 1/8 of an inch after, it doesn't really matter what the actual number is. Right, my paper is not quite 12 inches. So that can cause problems sometimes when you're flipping and flapping. So put it back in the same way you had it. Can you see? That's not quite 12 inches. Right, so we'll turn that one back round, and we're going to do 1/8 of an inch before that, which is 3 1/8, just from the centre, just on the centre part, from the top score line to the bottom. And then we're going to go 1/8 of an inch over that, from the top score line to the bottom. Now, I appreciate, yeah, it may be hard to see. You can perhaps see it easier on that side. We've now got a carbon copy of this, and we're going to cut off those 4 corners. Yeah, by doing it like this, you get those little scraps are a little bit bigger. If you want to score all the way down, do it. But I find it easier to know where to cut, which line to cut on, if I only score in the middle. But as I said, this is only if you want to make the expandable one. Right, so I grab the scissors and I'm going to cut, and I want to cut that bumpy part off. So we're cutting to the right of that score line. So your little 4 corners that you're cutting off are going to have the score lines on them. If you've done much stuff where you're scoring, you know that you get your little bumpy bit where you've scored. Peaks and valleys, mountains and valleys, people call them all sorts. I call them bumpy bits. They match my bumpy bits. I've been quite careful. I don't want to cut too far with these. If you cut too far into it, it's more likely that your paper can tear. Right, I'll cut 2, and then I'll just pause while I cut other 2, because I am very slow at cutting this kind of stuff. I like to be quite precise on this part. To be honest, I can see better if I hold this up in front of the window. I'm struggling to see because of the angle I have to have it at for you to see. You see, I'll just go back in just to do that final bit, and I'll just pause, and when I come back, all 4 will be done. And we're back. So that's the 4 corners I've cut off. You can use those as little journal cards, pockets, anything you want. I might use them as pockets in the back of my journal. So we're at that point. Now, this makes an envelope 7.5 by 5.5. I'll just take a minute to show you how easy it would be to alter this. If you say wanted an envelope that were only 5 by 7, as long as you make this centre area 5 by 7, Bob's your uncle. So if we wanted it 7.5, sorry, 7 high instead of 7.5, bring your score line down 1/4 of an inch and bring that one up 1/4 of an inch, and you've got an envelope that's 7. I know this might sound like a egg sucking lesson to a lot of people, but I'm just mindful I've got a lot of beginners watching. Yeah, or you could have your top flap bigger than your bottom and bring it down a whole 1/2 inch there. If you needed to shrink it into 5 inches, these 2 don't have to be even, and those 2 don't have to be even. I think it's just a good starting point while you're learning how to do these envelopes. So you just need to bring that score line in. The same with your extra score line if you're going to make it an expandable envelope. It just needs to be 1/8 of an inch after your full score line. And yeah, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, job's a good and all that bag of mashings. Right, I'll put my thing away now. Just straight back of this, it comes with a thing that helps you make envelopes. I've no idea how that works, none whatsoever. I'll figure it out, and I might, if anyone wants to see it, I'll show you. I'm not even using the scoring tool it came with because I love my metal one. But yeah, it's a lot lighter as well, that, than my other one. I mean, don't get me wrong, the other one still works, but that one's far easier for me doing videos. Right, next thing I'm going to do is round my corners. All these, I had to count 8. All 8 corners, and I'm going to use the large one, I think. Yeah, let's have big rounded corners, because what do we say on this channel? Sharp corners are offensive. I don't know why, they just are. Some things are just fact. There's no quibble. I could have done this off camera, but you'd have missed all this lovely waffling, wouldn't you, while I do it. Oh yeah, if you saw my community post I put on late last night, because one of the kids are like, oh, it's National Tabby Cat Day today. I'm like, is it? It's the National Day for something every day, isn't there, really? So I just thought I'd put a nice little picture of Nala in a box on the community page. Right, I've new ruler, exactly the same as my old ruler. Don't know where old ruler is. Slight chance a child may have had away with it. Right, I'm going to come in and fold without my ruler, just to fold those up. But then to fold that other one that's only 1/8 of an inch difference, I find if we butt the ruler edge up to that second score line, it helps us get 2 nice sharp creases. Because sometimes when they're close together, it wants to just crease itself somewhere between 2, doesn't it? So anyway, that's how I do it. And you can use that for both score lines. There you go, it's quicker. This was a trick I learnt when I used to do a lot of mini albums. Wonder where. Lots of measuring. I don't know how, somehow I've put a score mark there that don't want to be there. I'm just going to smooth it out with my bone folder. There you go, can't see it on that side. You'll not see it on the other side because they're all busyness. Very busy. Oh, have I missed a score line out there? No, I haven't. I just couldn't see it because it's on the stripe. Durr. It's on the stripe of the paper. Yeah, I really struggled to see where my score lines were on this because the paper was striped. I had to stand up and get it right under the window. Right, so we've now got the basis of our policy envelope. So that could be a big envelope that way. It could be a big envelope that way. Or you could even have it on the side of your journal opening one way or the other. So this could be for the front cover or the back. I'll grab my journal and show you how I'm going to use it. I'll get the one that's not tied up with its ribbon. Oh, if you've been watching the progress of this journal, I have gone ahead and done some stamping around the edge and up that centre bit that's reinforced with brown tape, just to match the front. I was going to cover it with some thin paper, and I thought, no, I liked that look on the front. I'm going to do the same. So my policy envelope is going to go here. I'm going to have it fastened like that with the bottom flap and that top flap there. Yeah, and I'm going to leave my top open so that I can put a tag in. That's why I've not meant it go up right to the top. I wanted a little bit of room. Also, I've left enough room either side so that it will comfortably close in the journal. I tried my prototype and it was so large my journal didn't want to close. So there. Now, there's various ways you can do your closures on this. I think what I'll do is I'll do my closure one way on this, and then I'll show you another way on the one that I'd previously folded up. Wherever on earth that's ended up. Let's do this one first. Right, button string closure. Here we go. Right, I'm just going to pause and get organised. I've gone disorganised. Right, rumour has it I'm now organised, although pausing ain't going to do it for me, is it? It'll take a lot longer than that. Right, we can make the closure like on this envelope. If you've got a Cropadile or something that sets eyelets, it's quite simple. If you don't have something that sets eyelets, you can do it like I did on this one and use brads. Yeah, either way, we need some circles of card. Well, I'm saying circles, they don't have to be circles, but that just takes us off in too many different directions, doesn't it? Right, I've got a circle of cream card. I have lots of circles pre-cut. I do it from scrap card, so I've just fished some out of there. A 1-inch circle, that is, using my 1-inch punch. And then I've got a 1-inch circle of design paper. Yeah, and then glue them together. I've gone ahead and done a couple ready so that they could be set. Yeah, and you don't have to wait for glue to set. But I will do these. I think I want to do some... I like this world map, I really do. So I'm going to cut a few out of that. Perhaps only get 2. Yeah, but hey ho. So I want to do the world map one with those. These 2 I've gone ahead and made ready. They'll look fine on there. Oh, that's a different one. Yeah, they'll look fine. I think that piece of paper is from the Dapper collection. That one maybe from, I don't know, they're all loose sheets I've got now that came from different collections. But you can still see the TimHoltz collections online. So, we've cut out 2 circles from the map page. And I've got 2 cream circles that I'm going to glue those to. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue. In case you're interested, I think art glitter glue is coming out as my favourite over the Barely Arts glue. I don't know, some of the things that I've done with Barely Arts glue, some of my edges don't seem to be glued down as well. That could be user error. Maybe I'm using the wrong amount of glue. I really don't know. So glue those on. And then I normally pop those under my mat, somewhere flat so they don't go curling up. Oh, that one's already got something on back. Can you see I've already been playing? That's the playing one. I think it's 300 GSM cardstock, this one. It doesn't need to be that thick. I like to do it like that so we don't have as much glue squidging out of the edge. We don't like squidgage or sharp corners. Very offensive. So that's those 2 glued. Right, let's pretend that we've just done those and they've dried. Yee! So the first method I'm going to show you is with the Cropadile. So this is the Cropadile or any other hole making tool you've got. I like to put my holes in after I've put these together. I'm very good, me, at punching the holes in the wrong place. But I still wing it and leave it till last minute. Now, I'll get a spare piece of card. I'll put a dot in the middle. That looks like middle to me. And then I'm going to punch it. If it looks good, that looks good. I'll then draw a circle on there for punching. And for there. If I wanted to cut them both out together, I'd have to glue 2 bits of card together, and that's too much faffing for my liking. And it's a junk journal. If the hole's not completely in the centre, I don't think the world will end, will it? Get that out of there. And if you look at my first one, I then stuck another circle on there just for fanciness. I'm not that fancy today. Today's not a fancy day. And I'm going to grab a couple of eyelets. I've had a lot of questions about eyelets and where I get them from. I quite often get different eyelets every time from Amazon or AliExpress or wherever. And these are actually slightly bigger than they ought to be. Unless I get my eyelets from the US in 3/8 of an inch, they're gonna, look, it's a very tight fit. If you find it's too much of a tight fit, just come in and punch slightly off centre and pop that in. Yeah. And that is down to our millimetres are our eyelets are 4 millimetres. In US, the 3/8 of an inch. That is not an exact measurement. It's not an exact conversion. This is why I don't give measurements in millimetres and inches, because it never converts exactly, and then things don't quite line up or fit. But there, I've got those in. And these, yeah, this was just a random set that I bought off Amazon. I think it's in my Amazon wish list, not wish list, storefront. And yeah, don't set it until you put it in your thing, woman. Too much waffling occurring. Now I need to put a hole there and a hole there. I'm very much a wing it kind of woman. If you want to measure it, get your centering ruler. This is why I bought a new one to show you, because I couldn't find it. Get your centering ruler if you've got one, or measure the flap and measure halfway along. This is why I love the centering ruler, because if I get the 0 in the centre, is that right? Is it? I don't know, I can't add up. Am I using centering side? Yes, so 2 3/4 inches, just under. Remember, because we cut a little bit off, didn't we? We cut on the side of the, yeah, we cut the score line off. So that is the middle. I'm going to do the same here. I'm not measuring how far up it is. I can't be that precise. I used to be. But these days it's like, yeah, if it's good enough, I'm an happy bunny. And there we go. For the depth, this is why I don't measure it. I use this. I'll make it go in as far. In fact, that don't go all the way up to my dotted line. But I know it's going to be in the centre. And when I put my string round, it's going to line up. Yeah, we're very optimistic. If you fancy and you want to use the Cropadile Big Bite, which punches deeper, use that. There's a lot of things that, why is that like that? I don't know why I've done that. I don't know how that happened. Just don't know how that happened. Answers on a postcard, please. Now then, pop that in there. If you want, let's show you. If you want it to be raised up a little bit, you can pop a little circle of cardboard underneath it. Because this is a nice big button, I'm just not doing it. I'm just going to put that in as is. Whee. Go, there you go. And set your eyelet. There you go, that's done. Same with this one. Bit of wiggling to make it fit, because again our eyelets are slightly bigger than the hole. But that's something I've learnt to live with, because I can't afford to keep buying branded eyelets. And there we have the policy envelope. Decide, I think I'm going to put that, I'm going to have it that way up. That's the right way up, that's sideways, that's upside down. It doesn't really matter. In fact, let's have it that way. I want that the right way up. I don't mind that being upside down. And you've got it. You've got a policy envelope then that will expand. In fact, let's grab that. Let's get some string to put on it. I'm using this faux leather twine on mine. I think it is this the 1.5 millimetre or 2. I'm just going to tie that around there. But you don't have to tie it. Let's not. Let's just leave it. I'm being very wing it today, aren't I? That's enough string. Wrapped it round 3 times. Now in there I've got a full pack of TimHoltz Ephemera. Open you that up again. Look how chunky that is. Yeah? I don't think I'd keep anything that chunky in permanently, but you could. So just wind that round a time or two. It's not going to come out, and if it does, you can wind it back round again. So that's that one made with eyelets. Right, let's grab the other piece of paper, the map page. Right, this one, I'm going to make it, yeah, I'm going to make it open that way. As well as using brads rather than eyelets, I'm going to have it opening that way. So that's our map pages. I'm going to ink the edges of this as well. I've not made you watch me ink everything else. You could nod off watching inking, couldn't you? There you go. It just makes it stand out. Can you see the difference? In fact, if we put that one there and that blue one there, it stands out even more anyway. And I'm using my walnut stain ink. Whee. And I'm going to punch my holes, but this time I'm going to use the small hole on my Cropadile. Yeah, I'm going to use the 1/8 of an inch hole, which is that side. So I'll get my little template back. Oh no, I need a new template because it's going to be a smaller hole, isn't it? Of course it is, woman. Let's grab another one. That's the 1-inch one. Oh, that's shiny. That'll make a good template. So we'll guesstimate where the middle is. That looks about middle. Yeah, that's middle-ish. Yeah, that looks good. I mean, if you're a super organised person, you can make this template once and use it forever. You think you know that's not me. Super organised and me. I'm organised in some ways and totally unorganised in others. I'm a living contradiction. So that's my holes. I'm going to punch with the 1/8. There you go. That's totally not middle. I didn't even punch that on where the hole was. Yeah, that's not. That one's better. But does it matter? No, it doesn't matter that much. Right, I've got some brads. I've got some here I've never used by Artemio. They're like, look, they're like little screws. I'm going to try these. My other plain ones were tuppence a bucket full off Amazon. These were off Amazon, but you don't get as many. I think I'm going to use the silver ones. Well, not silver, the pewter, old silver. I don't really know. I'm just guessing now. Right, now I'm going to decide where I want to put my, on this, because these are close together. We don't want to have a situation where they don't meet. Now I'm gonna decide that line there is middle. I don't know if it is, but it looks about middle-ish. And I think if I put it not on that line, it's gonna look strange. So it's gonna go on that line. So I want that one there, and that one there. I like this all having a lot of room between them these days. That one there and there. So I'm just gonna come in and make a hole. Make another hole. Now you might not have that Cropadile big bite thing that I was talking about that'll let you punch your holes all the way up there, but because this is only a tiny hole that we're going to be putting a brad in, I'm going to use my pokey tool and I'm going to reinforce it. You can use washi tape or you can use another piece of paper. So grab your pokey tool, woman, I can see you. There's my pokey tool. Now I'm going to get another piece of this paper that's spare. In fact, yeah, that will do. But I think because we're just poking a hole in the paper, we need to reinforce it a little bit. Right. There we go. There will do. I just want to cut them bumpy bits off. We don't want no bumps. There we are, they're gone. I mean, they're both different sizes. I'll make one go on, then I'll cut one down so it matches size-wise a bit better. There you go. Still don't match. Right. I'm going to poke the first hole and then I'm going to stick that on. So that's our mark. I'm going to poke it through. Then to make it a bit bigger, I just do that. Yeah. I know you can't see these marks, but I can. Poke that through, just wind it round a bit. Then I'm going to do the same to these. This time I'm going to poke from this side, in middle, wind it round. Middle, wind it round. And then I'm going to glue these. If you wanted to be really fancy around the edges, you could. Should we do it? Let's just do it. Because what do we say? Sharp corners are offensive. That does look better, actually. I like it. I mean, there's lots of ways you can do this. I've done it ways before where you don't even punch into this part. Right. Then I'm going to line my 2 holes up. Yeah. Then I'll get some glue on here. I'm going to use my art glitter because it's my favourite. Where's it gone? It's hiding behind that Barely Arts. Smidgen of gunkiness. There we go. I'm going to put that hole. I know you probably can't see this because I'm lifting it to see, but that's just to make sure it lines up nicely. The holes still. And I've done it like that, so you've got the finished off hole there and the finished off hole on the front. Really is less likely to tear like that. I really have to cover that up. I know I said no inking, but that way it didn't tear out of the pad properly. Not happy when that happens, Timothy, but he doesn't do them pads anymore anyway, so we'll give him a break on that. Gluey glue. Line that up. There we go. I mean, you could do the same on your other one where you've put the eyelets in if you want. I just think when you've made the hole with a paper piercer like that rather than the proper tool, it is more likely to break. Right, grab these, put the brad through the hole. I know, but I don't mind having these legs showing. It's much easier if something does happen and your brad breaks or you want to change it, you can do that. That don't want to happen. It was telling me, put your button on first, woman. Yeah, it's straight enough, that one, isn't it? Put your button on. Sometimes I talk that much, I forget what I'm doing. We get there in the end though, don't we? There we go. So that's the button string closure that way round on that one. Let's grab some more twine. I honestly can't remember the exact width of this twine because it doesn't say it on the card, and I have bought it in many different widths. I'm guessing this is going to be 1.5 millimeters. Yeah, I'm not going to tie that. So there we go. That's enough times round. Let's tidy that up. Let's see what we can fit in this one. Let's see if we can fit a full TimHoltz pack of ephemera in here. Oh, it looks even better sideways. So I think when you put them together this way, they tend to hold a bit more. So that's one we've made, and that's the other. I will bring my journal in here and I'll show you how either of these is going to look fabulous on inside cover of this journal. So we've got that one. That one could fit like so. And again, you could leave it open to put something there, but I'm going to leave it. Do you know, considering I've got all that room in pocket for big things, I might not leave it open for a pocket. We'll see. So that one looks good. Oh, go away, string. We're getting in a tangle. Got really angry with that then, didn't I? And that one also looks good. I think I like that one better with that paper. I think that one's going to look better inside the other journal. Let's see. I mean, I'm not making twin journals. They are very similar, but they're not the same. Oh, yes. I like that. I think that colour looks much better with that. So that one's going to go in there.
I'm not sure about that.
Really? We've not heard from you in a while, Gertrude. Are you all right, missus? To be honest, I thought you'd gone on holiday. Or gone on a round world trip, taking 2 years. So, yeah, sorry. Gertrude is my Amazon device. We don't call her by name. So that one, that's going to be rather chunky, that one, isn't it? Because that's already got its centre insert in. That's one chunky little monkey of a journal. But I like it. Ooh, it feels nice in your hand. So that's that one, and that's that one. Now, before I go, I'm just going to bring my template back. I mean, if you've followed everything off your pop, you don't need to stay for this bit. It's like a little bit of after-school detention, this one. Because I did mention briefly how you can make your envelope any size using this template. Another thing I want to mention is you can use any size paper. It doesn't always have to be square. As long as your flaps are going to meet on one side or the other, it's going to come together and make an envelope, if you see what I mean, like that. Or if you don't want it to come together and make a full envelope, you can do that as well. I've seen a lot of people making them where you can still say we didn't even have those flaps at all. Yeah, you could pop something in, close it, it's still going to hold it. It could be, that flap could be shorter, so it came to say there. Same with that, so you'll be able to see what was inside the pocket. You can alter this to any size you want, as long as you follow, yeah, the basics. If you are a beginner and it's the first time you've made a policy envelope, if you've got a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, yeah, mark that out. If the most popular size you make is 7 by 5, mark it out for a 7 by 5 envelope, yeah, whatever suits you. I hope that's helped. It's there again if you want to take a screenshot. And yeah, the next thing I will be back with on that journal is binding it and just putting some pockets in the back cover. But my next project is going to have a lot more colour, and that'll be up later this week. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.